Hello, Kelly here with Kelly Soroka Life, and today I am doing a VR, a video response to a video that I watched this morning, and it is on Marlena Teresa's channel, and I will put the information down below so you can go and see where she got her inspiration from. But she put out the tag October Deck Fest. And so using the decks that you have for this time of year. So you may be a person who has some decks and only uses them at this time of year. And I do. I have a collection of decks that I just use for this time of year. But I also have a lot of decks that are probably considered more spooky season decks or October decks. But I use them all year round. And so they stay in my kind of regular collection. And because most of them I use for shadow work, like the Dark Mansion Tarot, the Tarot of the Vampires, and ones like that, because I do at certain times of the year want to use those and like to use those, and they're really fun to use. And so I don't have them kind of separated off, but I do have some very specific, Halloween Samhain decks that I do pull out for this time of year and that I really like for this time of year. So I kind of keep those in their own special little basket. And at this time of year, just like now, I pull them out. And the tarot tag on Marlena's channel, she was inspired by someone who was using, I think, a spread that used 10 different decks, I believe. And so her inspiration was what are ways that other people can use decks for that purpose and bring out the decks. So my first thing that I'm going to do is make this video and show you these 10 decks that I picked, and they're ones that I have. A couple I keep, in like the Lenormand deck that I have is one that I do keep, that I keep in kind of a normal rotation, and one of the Oracle decks. But the rest of them I usually just bring out this time of year. So that's the first thing I'm doing, is being inspired to make this video. And then I'll also have some readings and some information in a PDF that you can do, and I'll show those to you later on, and you can download and use that for yourself. And so I will be doing some readings. I'll probably do a reading, just pull some cards with one of the decks that I pull out here today, and talk about some other things that maybe you can do and for using the decks that you might not use any other time of the year. And sometimes we have decks and you might be a person who likes these decks and you use them all year round, or that you're looking to expand your collection, or you want some decks to use this time of year, or you just want some fun inspiration. And so all of those things I'm going to do in this video for you today. So again, the tag is October Deck Fest, and I'll put again the information down below with some goodies and things that you can do with your decks and during this season that is fun, because we are full on in spooky season, and it's great. So I will start, and this is the Black Cats Tarot, and I'll have links to most of them. I think you can still get at this point. There might be a couple that are out of print that you might not be able to get anymore, but I will let you know those. But I think these are mostly mass market decks or independent decks that you can still get. So the first one is the Black Cats Tarot, and this is a Lo Scarabeo deck, and it's got the little white book with it. And this is just a cute deck. It's just fun. And while I do have cats, and I do have two black cats, and my daughter, I think, actually gave me this deck for my birthday, maybe. But it's really cute. And even though it could be one that that could, potentially be used in other times of the year. I really like it for this time, just bringing out the black cats for Halloween time. And it's really cute. It's not one that I would, typically use in, just an everyday, like doing everyday readings or doing readings for other people. But I think it's really cute, and it's got really cute, um, just kind of fun illustrations with the cats on it, and you can see it's got the symbol down below, so it's the five of cups, and here is the death card, and then here is a wands card, the ace of wands. But it's just really cute. And I think that it is a good one that for this season that you could pull out and use for a spooky season in October. So the next one is this is the Jack-o'-lantern tarot. And this one, again, this one's a low scarabo deck. And you see here's the little white book. And here are the cards. And this one is it is the Jack-o'-lantern tarot. And it's just really just cute for this time of year. It's, a little bit spooky, and it's definitely a Rider-Waite-Smith take. Definitely has a lot of influence from the original Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's got lots of pumpkins, got lots of jack-o'-lanterns, got lots of skeletons, got lots of influence, but it's got its own rhythm and its own kind of style to it. And I think it's just really cute, and I like using it for this time of year. So that one again is the Jack-o'-lantern tarot, and it's a low scarabeo deck. Now, this one is the zombie tarot, and this one that's been out for quite a while. And this one is, I think you can still get it. I believe I got mine several years ago when it was still an independent deck. And I think since then you can get it mass market. But I'll put the links and everything in here. But you can see it's got this, it's I like it because it is kind of fun and zombie-ish, but at the same time, it's it's pretty deep. It's got a lot of very spooky illustrations. Um, and it's got this kind of like 50s look to it, like something you would see. It's got the old cars, and it's got, the old clothes, and it's got, dresses and attire, from the 40s and 50s. And so it's got that kind of look to it. But it's also, a little bit deep. It's also very shadowy, and it's also and can be kind of like, kind of shocking. And so this is one that I definitely pull out at this time of year because it is looking into that time of year, looking into this time that is where things are dying off, where things are going into a decay. And and how do we find that? How do we find that balance and going into the dark months, and how this time of year was very challenging in the past, and how it was very, it was, death was something that was very, very real to people, and our ancestors. And so it's looking at that shadow, and it's looking at those things that we might not want to face, looking at those things that it may have been really easy for the past several months because, it's been, at least here, it's sunny, it's warm, everything's growing. And now we're looking at the time where it's going to be cold and it's going to be dark and it's going to be damp. And so the zombie tarot, I think, is really good for that. It's good, just kind of fun, especially if you're into the zombies and zombie apocalypses and things like that. But it's also if you want to do some work, if you want to do some inner work at this time and do some shadow work. So that is the Zombie Tarot. And it was written by um, Stacey Graham, Paul Keppel, Ralph Gironi of Headcase Design. So and I'm not sure. Again, I'll put the information about it in the description so you can get it if you're interested in it. Okay, so next is this one is the 78 Halloween Tarot. And this one, I'm not sure if you can get this one or not. This is by the 78 Tarot Company, and they have made a series of decks over the years, and they use 78 different artists or more because usually there's extra cards. And they bring all of these artists together, and you can see the artist's name is down at the bottom, and you can see that the cards look like they're from different artists. They don't really, the art is different, although it's the same kind of theme. So these are, again, the 78 Tarot. They made a series of decks with 78 or more different artists, and they brought them together and gave them the theme, and they all made their artistic representation of that particular card. So here's the Death, here's the Ace of Cups, and you can see the Halloween. It definitely has a take on Halloween, and they have several different decks, and they have one that's nautical, they have one that's ecological, and they all are 78 tarot, something like 78 tarot or 78 Halloween tarot or 78 ecological or 78 magical or mythical, I think are ones they have too. And I know that they recently did one, and I think because of all the things that are going on with the tariffs and just prices and things like that, and that I'm not quite sure. I think the last one is in limbo, and I don't know if they're going to do any more. But I think that they do still have a store that you can buy some of these decks in. And this one I got, and they also have, and I didn't bring that one out, but they also have a mini Oracle deck that goes along with this. And so I got the mini Oracle deck. It's really cute. And so, but this is, I think, just a good deck to look for, and if you can still find it, it's a good one, to look at and to use. But it's one that I like. The cards you can see, here's the cards for this one, and here is the Lo Scarabo, the Jack-o'-lantern tarot, and you can see the difference in the card size and how they're very big cards. And so if there's one that you wanted to work with, and I'm sure that you can also find it if you really wanted it. There's probably places that are, resell them, that rehome them, people that, are ready to pass them on. And so, just look for that if you want to do that. But that one is one that I definitely bring out at this time of year. And this one is the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot. And this one is just so cute. And I really like this one. And this one it was published as a US Games, and it's by Lisa Hunt, who most famously did the fairy tale tarot. And it was out of print. She did it, and it was really pretty, and just had just beautiful art. And then and then it went out of print for a while, and then US Games, I guess, reprinted it. And so you can now get her, her most famous deck, the Ghost or the Fairy Tale Tarot, and you can get that mass market now. But this one is hers, and she also has a few other decks. And if you like this art, if you like her art, then you should definitely look into her decks. But I'll leave a link to this one. This is the Ghosts and Spirits, and every card has a very mystical, magical, mythological story behind it. And it's just it her art is just very pretty. It's so magical and just it you know and it's very deep too. Even though the art um is is like kind of lighter in color, and it's more, kind of very magical looking. It's got so much depth, and it's got so much um, just intricate design in it that it's just really pretty. So if you like that style, if you like Lisa Hunt's style, definitely look at this one for this time of year, or it might be one that you want to use. This one I think would be a very good one to use an ancestor for ancestor readings. And so you can definitely use that one and bring it out. And if you like her art, look for her other decks as well. And it's just got that like kind of fairy influenced, magical, earthy tones in it. And so that's one that I really like using this time of year. All right. So this is the Trick or Treat Tarot. And this one I believe is a Llewellyn deck. And it's really um it's really cute. And again, it's like the zombie tarot. It's cute and it's cheeky, but it has a lot of depth to it. And it is kind of like going and looking at different people at different times of the day or different points in their lives during the Halloween season. So, grown-ups dressing up for to go to take their kids out. Kids, what are they dreaming of being in their costumes? Things, people having parties, people going out to celebrate. What do people do and how do they celebrate? And what are things that they want to do? And how do we kind of let our hair down for Halloween? It's kind of become a time of us indulging in fantasies. In other times of the year, we would never do some of these things. And us as witches, we probably do these things a lot during the year. And we kind of let our witchiness and our spooky season kind of influence the rest of the year. But for a lot of people, it's a time that they can really bring out their inner things that they really want to do. And as kids, it's so exciting to dress up and to have fun and to go get candy and to visit the neighbors or go to Halloween parties or whatever it is that they do. And so it's that time of just really letting ourselves be another person, letting ourselves step into the role of another person. Wear a mask, and wear a mask of something that we're really interested in. So it's a really cute deck, and again, kind of cheeky, but it's very deep, and I think that it is really good. Um, it's a really good deck to use this time of year, and especially looking, do if you want to do some shadow work, if you want to do some work around this time of year for you going into the Halloween, going into the last half of the year, going into wherever you are if you're going into a time when it is dark and cold, and going into maybe a holiday season where you wish you could wear a mask. And so you're looking at that and doing some work around that. Okay, this is the last tarot, and then I have an Oracle and a Lenormand. And this one is the Sleepy Hollow Tarot. And this one is published by, who is it published by? Red Feather. This is a Red Feather deck. And this one that my daughter did give me for Mother's Day, I believe. So she knows me well. And I was an English teacher. I was an English major, was an English teacher, homeschooled. And so she knows that the Legend of Sleepy Hollow Tarot is something that I would definitely be interested in. And so it's still in the box because I wanted to use it and take it out during this time of year and use it for the first time. So you can see it's, very influenced by the Legend of Sleepy Hollow and that time, that story and that time in history. And so I'm looking forward to using this. And I think it's very, again, very Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. But I think it'll be really fun, to work with and to have that kind of take on on this on this season. So that is the Legend of Sleepy Hollow Tarot. So if you like, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, if you are, really like the story, if you just like, stories and history, and historical fiction and historical, looking at Sleepy Hollow and the story, that will be a good one for you to look at. So lastly, I have two. This one is an oracle deck, and this one is the Les Vampires Oracle. And I think it is French, and so that's my French pronunciation. And so this one is, I believe it is Lucy Cavendish is who did this one. And she has a very, she has a very unique art style. So you can see her art style here. And I think, a lot of people, really, really like it or really, really don't like it. And her art style has been, I think that she does, I think that she does art and her art has been used. I don't know that she actually did this deck. But you can read more about it if you like it and are interested in it. But like this one is this one is faith. And so you see it says faith, trust, unwavering, and confidence. And so it is and if you like, vampires, if you like that kind of Victorian look to your vampires, then this one is a good one. And I really like using this one as an oracle deck that goes along because it goes with almost all of these decks that I've gotten out. I have two oracles, sorry. But this one is the first oracle deck, and I think it definitely goes with, you could use it with as an oracle deck by itself, or you could use it in conjunction with one of these other decks. And I like to use the oracle deck as kind of the theme to a reading, and then draw 3 or 5 cards to go along with it. And so that's an idea that you can do. Pair up one of your oracle decks with the tarot deck, and it doesn't necessarily have to be another Halloween deck or Samhain deck. That you could definitely use something that is more spooky season and then use it just with a regular deck, and so that brings that in. But I think what I really like to do, and what I probably will do with this one, is do that and pair it with one of these and use it together and do some readings that way. So this one is the Southern Gothic Oracle. Now they do, and this is by Stacey Williams-Ing, and she's done several decks now. And I think the first one, it was the Southern Botanic, or I think maybe this was the first one, the Southern Gothic Oracle. And then she did the Southern Botanic Oracle, which I have. And then this one has a haunted pack and there's a haunts, and I think there's a haunts and something else, a haunts and um another expansion pack. But I've got both of these in here, and so I'll leave the information that you can get this. But I've always loved this one because I'm from the South, and I love all of the ones that she's done, and because they just speak to me. I mean, there's so many cards in here that are just like, oh yes, I know what that is, and I grew up doing that, or using that, or seeing that, or whatever it is. And so this was one that I like, and because I have the botanical that I use more year round, this one I'll pull out a lot of times at this time of year. So you can see roots, and I like this one too because it has some keywords. It has the title, and it has some keywords down at the bottom too. So it's very easy to use. So black coffee. Watching this just reminds me of how my aunt, when I was growing up, loved her black coffee. She would pour her cup of coffee, and then she would pour just a little bit in her saucer, let it cool off, and drink it from the saucer, and sip it from the saucer. And then, as she was waiting for her, the cup to cool off enough for her to drink it. Um, armadillo basket, and it's definitely got some hoodoo influence. And cowrie shells, the copperhead. Many a time have I found copperheads in when we lived on the farm, in the barn, different places, just around. And so I've definitely have a relationship with copperhead. Definitely with crows. And the Vampire of Richmond. This is one of the haunts cards, expansion cards, and it's got the great stories that you can find also. Crimes of Passion, Blue Moon, black walnut, and my grandmother had a walnut tree in her backyard that we lived next door to when I grew up, and so that it's all just stuff that is very close to my heart. And so this is one, but with that haunts expansion, and because it does lean into that more um gothic gothic feel, then it is a deck that I'd like to use this time of year. And so let's see, I think this is the last one. Yes. So I think that's 10, I believe. So this one is one that I just got. And this one is the Ghastly Lenormand. And you can see just from the shape of it that it's the shape of a coffin. And it is, I don't remember the artist's name. And I don't see it on here, but I'll put it for you. And I think it's one that I backed on Kickstarter. I think that you can still get it. And this one has the 36 Lenormand cards here, but it's also got some extra cards that you can use for lots of different things, and so you can just use it as a regular Lenormand card. So here you see the scythe and the bear and the moon. So it's really cute, and it's got um some expansion cards here. Like this one is the treasure chest, and then it's got another one. It's got some medallions or some medals here. A broken mirror for this one. So it's got some things that you can use, and if you want to use it just as an oracle, you don't do Lenormand, you can definitely do that, or you can use however you use the expansion cards for Lenormand decks. So that is it. Yep, that's it. That's my 10 decks. And so this was a really fun one because I've been wanting to do something with my decks, just like the video was inspiring me to do. And I've been thinking about these the last few days, and just haven't been able to really sit down and go through and have some fun time with these decks. But now that I've got them all out, I've got them in a little basket that's going to stay with me through this month, and I'll be doing some things with them throughout the year or throughout this month, and even into this actual Samhain season, because we're still really in the autumn equinox season and or Mayon season. And so Samhain starts October 31st. And so after that, even during November, I like to pull out these decks and use them during that time, because for me, that's the time that it's really, October is usually, just gorgeous weather. Like today, it's sunny and 70 degrees. But in going into November is really when it starts getting, the days are really getting shorter. It's really starting to get colder again, and so I like to, have these decks that just that walking that being that with me on that journey into those dark times, and during the time that really season of death and decay between Samhain and Yule, and so that time of darkness. And so these are some ones that I like to do that with. And I think for us, I think what I will do is I will draw, draw one from the Southern Gothic Oracle. So I draw one from that, and one from the Ghosts and Spirits. I'll do another reading for them together. So, and this is, something that you can do is pair up the decks and use them together and read with them together. And I'll leave you some information below. I have a PDF that has some goodies in it about Samhain, how you can start preparing for Samhain, and things that you can do, a couple of readings that you can do, and some journal prompts and things like that that you can do. So I got with the Southern Gothic Oracle. I have pine cone, and this is the third eye, or a new perspective. And that's great going into this time and using these decks to really have a new perspective, really have something to look forward to, and to, because this is kind of a symbol of what's coming, the symbol of the pine cone that's coming once this time of this, the end of fall it's coming. And then we move into Samhain season, where things, are really going dark, and then moving into the end of November into December, and then we move then into Yule, and the pine cones, is that symbol of the things, things that have been growing and been blooming and been working all of this summer, and now it's kind of in this little pine cone that's going to drop to the earth, and it's going to be renewed. It's going to decay, and it's going to give new life to new things. It's going to feed animals over the winter. It's going to become, maybe a new pine tree. And with it, we have the Eight of Wands. And then with the Eight of Wands, we have the time, it's messages. It's the time of, what is it that's coming at you? And you can see, there's lots and lots of ghosts and spirits, lots of things coming at you during this time of the year. And it probably is, a lot of us have, have things at school, at work, with homes, things that are coming at you. and during this time of year. And it's really a time when we should be, going in and going inward and resting and reflecting, but yet we're off, doing all of these things for the holidays and doing all of these things that we may not even be really want to do. So I think this is, take a lesson from the pine cone. And when you feel like this, when you're feeling like things are just coming at you too fast, look at just close your eyes and let your intuition take over, and let your intuition give you that new perspective. What should you be doing? What do you want to be doing? And what are the things that you can let go? What are things that you can just let go and let somebody else benefit from it? And so, keep that in mind as you're going through this time of year. How can you do that? How can you have a new perspective on the things that are coming at you? And how can you slow it down? How can you personally put boundaries up for yourself so that you can slow down, so that you can have time to rest, so that you can have time to say no to things, not to everything, but things that you might just want to say no to. So that is it. And that is it for my video response, my VR. And again, the tag is October Death Fest. And again, I'll have all of the information in the down below, and you can see it there and see what and decide what you want to do. And I'll have some PDF for you that you can print out and use your spooky season decks, and use your shadowy decks, or use your Halloween decks, or whatever that you have that you want to use, or just do some reflection and just do some letting, like the pine cone, just do some letting go, just do some take some time and go inward, and let your third eye take over, and listen to your intuition and listen to the messages that are coming at you, and decide what you want to let in and what you want to let go. So, well, I really enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are having a great spooky season, and that you are having a good October, no matter what's happening around you, that you are letting this time come in and enjoy the time this fall season. And so let me know if you do any of these things, if you have any of these decks, if there's decks that you like to use that I didn't mention and that you like to use during this season. Let me know. I would love to hear about it. And I will see you again soon. Bye.